Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. It's Thursday, December 24th, coming to you live from our studio in Seoul. I'm Kim Mo-kyun. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. The South Korean government has signed COVID-19 vaccine deals with Johnson & Johnson's Janssen and Pfizer. The government will purchase Janssen vaccines for 6 million people and Pfizer vaccines for 10 million people. Britain has confirmed a new strain of COVID-19 in 2 new cases. Both cases involve people who have recently travel history to South Africa. And U.S. President Donald Trump has officially vetoed the National Defense Authorization Act, claiming the $741 billion national security package contradicts its administration's efforts to put America first. Our top story today, the South Korean government has signed COVID-19 vaccine deals with Janssen and Pfizer. According to Prime Minister Chung Se-kyun on Thursday, the government has signed a contract to secure enough Janssen vaccine doses for 6 million people and Pfizer vaccine doses for 10 million people. The government says it plans to start vaccination using Janssen vaccines in the second quarter of next year. Pfizer vaccines are planned to be shipped into the country in the third quarter, but negotiations are underway to start imports in the second quarter. And now on the COVID-19 situation in South Korea, health authorities reported 985 new cases on Thursday. Though the figure has dropped below the 1,000 mark, authorities remain on high alert over further infections over the Christmas and New Year holidays. Of the new cases, 955 were locally transmitted, most of which were in the Greater Seoul area, and 30 cases were imported from overseas. The total number of cases is surpassed the 53,000 mark. 17 more people died of the virus, raising the death toll to 756. For 11 days starting today through January 3rd, strengthened virus measures will be in effect nationwide as part of South Korea's efforts to bring down the surge in COVID-19 infections. Gatherings of 5 or more people are banned at restaurants across the country, and winter sports facilities as well as major tourist spots will be closed. Our Kim Jae-hee has this story.
Starting Thursday through January 3rd, a new set of special virus prevention measures are in effect, aimed at trying to slow the spread of the virus over Christmas and the New Year. During this period, gatherings of 5 or more people are banned at restaurants nationwide. Violators will be fined up to around $90. Restaurant owners that accept a group of 5 or more people will be fined up to around $2,700. Although private gatherings of 5 or more people in places other than restaurants are not banned, except for those in the Greater Seoul area, the government highly advised the public to refrain from such meetings. Authorities also explained the ban does not mean that gatherings of up to 4 are safe.
This does not mean a gathering of up to 4 people is safe. At this time, please cancel all meetings and appointments, and understand that a meeting of 5 or more people is highly risky.
Also until January 3rd, winter sports facilities such as skating rinks and ski resorts, as well as popular year-end tourist spots such as Cheongdong-jin Beach and Namsan Park will be closed. Hotels and guest houses nationwide will only be allowed to have half of their rooms available for reservation. Movie theaters must be closed after 9 p.m., and department stores and large retailers are not to offer samples of food or drinks for tasting. Religious events such as weekly worship are to be held virtually, and meetings and meals organized by religious facilities are not allowed. This new set of measures cannot be mitigated by regional governments. Kim Jae-hee, Arirang News.
Pfizer says it will supply the U.S. government with 100 million more doses of its COVID-19 vaccine, bringing the company's total commitment for the country to 200 million doses. Meanwhile, more countries are kickstarting their vaccination programs, with Canada approving the use of Moderna's vaccine. Our Lee Seung-jae has this report.
American pharmaceutical giant Pfizer announced Wednesday that it will supply the U.S. government with an additional 100 million doses of its COVID-19 vaccine under a new agreement. The latest deal brings their total current commitment to 200 million doses for the U.S., and it will be enough to vaccinate 100 million Americans with a 2-dose regimen. The U.S. government also has an option to purchase an additional 400 million doses. Health Canada on Wednesday approved the use of Moderna's vaccine, with 168,000 doses expected to arrive by the end of the year. The announcement comes after the federal department completed its review of Moderna's clinical trial data. Canada has so far secured 40 million doses of the Moderna vaccine by the end of 2021. The country's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said at a press conference on Wednesday that doses should arrive in the coming days. More countries have begun their mass vaccination programs as Qatar launched its free COVID-19 vaccination program after the first batch of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine arrived in the country on Tuesday. Priority will be given to those 70 and older, those with multiple chronic health conditions, and healthcare workers in close contact with COVID-19 patients. In Switzerland, a 90-year-old woman received the first COVID-19 vaccine in the country on Wednesday, as the Alpine nation also began its vaccination program. The vaccines are to be provided at no cost. Mexico will soon begin its own vaccination program after the first doses from Pfizer arrived there on Wednesday. Mexico is set to receive over 1.4 million doses by the end of January. Argentina also became the first country outside of Russia to approve the emergency use of the Russian-made Sputnik V vaccine. The country's President Alberto Fernandez said this month that he hoped to vaccinate 300,000 Argentines before the end of the year and 10 million citizens in the first 2 months of 2021 using Sputnik V. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The UK has identified yet another new strain of COVID-19 linked to South Africa, which is different from the one detected earlier in the country. The entire region is now on high alert as the Republic of Ireland has reported its first case of the UK-linked variant. Our Lee Kyung-eun has the latest.
While Britain grapples with the rapid spread of more transmissible variant of the novel coronavirus, the country on Wednesday confirmed yet another even more infectious strain had been detected in 2 cases. Both cases involve people who have recent travel history to South Africa.
This new variant is highly concerning because it is yet more transmissible and it appears to have mutated further than the new variant that's been discovered in the UK.
As an immediate response, the UK Health Minister said those who visited South Africa in the past 14 days must go into self-quarantine. He added the UK will also impose travel restrictions on South Africa. Previously, South Africa had confirmed a genetic mutation of the coronavirus, pointing to that as a potential cause behind the country's recent spike in cases. According to Dr. Susan Hopkins from Public Health England, South Africa-linked strain is different from the one detected earlier in the UK. But she said the fresh threat could be controlled with the COVID-19 vaccine that's already developed.
There's strong evidence that it will work because the vaccine produces a strong immune response and it's broad and it acts against lots of variation in the virus.
Concerns are spreading into neighboring countries as the Republic of Ireland on the same day confirmed its first COVID-19 case of the UK-linked variant. Health authorities assume that the import of the virus dates back as far as the second week of December, when thousands entered the country from the UK for the upcoming holiday. In the wake of this new challenge, parts of the UK and Ireland will impose further lockdowns. Lee Kyung-eun, Arirang News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has officially vetoed the National Defense Authorization Act, describing it as, quote, a gift to China and Russia. He also said that the $741 billion national security package has failed to include critical national security measures and contradicts his administration's efforts to put America first in the country's national security and foreign policy actions. The move, however, is unlikely to stop the bill from being enacted, as it has been passed in both the House and the Senate with margins large enough to override a veto from the president. Congress will come back next week to attempt to override the veto, beginning with the House on the 28th, then the Senate on December 29th. A Hong Kong court has granted bail to media tycoon Jimmy Lai in a national security and fraud case. The high-profile pro-democracy activist was arrested under the city's new national security law for allegedly colluding with foreign forces. Lai had frequently visited Washington to rally support for Hong Kong democracy, prompting Beijing to label him a traitor. He was also charged with fraud related to the lease of a building used by his tabloid newspaper. The national security law outlaws subversion, terrorism, and collusion with foreign forces, which critics say undermines freedom in Hong Kong. Christmas is just around the corner, but celebrations will be much more subdued than usual in South Korea as the country continues to grapple with the COVID-19 pandemic. Our Kim Hyo-sun has more.
This is a Christmas carol sure to encourage the public to fight the COVID-19 pandemic and to never lose hope during these challenging times. It has been prepared by the United Christian Churches of Korea and Seoul Philharmonic Orchestra. The pandemic has brought us a Christmas like no other, as religious gatherings are banned nationwide to try and stem the spread.
Business is disrupted due to COVID-19 and many people are having a tough time. I hope we can overcome the pandemic soon.
For the first time in history, Christmas Mass is going online.
We are waiting for Christmas with many uncertainties, especially due to the virus.
Protestant churches are also embracing a never-seen-before celebration for the birth of Jesus. Christmas services will be live-streamed. Despite many hurdles, the spirit of goodwill and caring continues to spread throughout the community.
We are all finding it difficult, so we need to cooperate and care for those in need.
While reflecting on the Christmas message of peace and goodwill to all, many are also praying that next year's Christmas will be back to normal. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
Good morning. We're still trapped under high levels of toxic smog with dust advisories on this Christmas Eve. And the East Coast is under dry weather and strong wind advisories, so please be extra careful if you have to handle fire. But the dust will clear as cold air blows in from late afternoon. In fact, here in the capital, we'll have highs that are lower than today's morning temperatures, getting up to just 3 degrees Celsius, while Gwangju will get up to 10 degrees this afternoon, with a chance for snow in southern parts of the country overnight. Temperatures will plunge on Christmas Day morning, and it's going to feel like minus 10 degrees here in Seoul with biting winds. But over the holiday weekend, we'll have more bearable temperatures. But the final week of 2020 and into the New Year's holiday weekend are forecast to wrap up with teeth-chattering temperatures. So you might want to take out your warmest winter jackets this weekend. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
That's a wrap for us at the hour on Arirang News. We'll be back with more of the day's headlines at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.